Based on the classic tabletop role-playing game, Shadowrun returns thrust players into a world where the high fantasy trappings of elves, orcs and magic collides with cyberpunk and film noir. As a broke Shadowrunner, a mercenary with a knack for corporate espionage, players must attempt to avenge the murder of a one-time colleague for cash, out of a sense of justice, or just because they're plain bored. The path to the killer is less simple than it first appears, however, and the Shadowrunner must contend with a deranged serial killer, a charismatic cult, corporations with a stranglehold on the city, and corrupt law enforcement. The winding, twist-filled route to revenge is an enjoyable romp, and is elevated by some of the best writing in modern gaming. With no voiced dialogue or detailed character models, developer Harebrained Schemes manages to give life to the motley cast of society's rejects, cops on the take, and other Shadowrunners through use of colourful character portraits and compelling text. Likewise, the clear vision Harebrained has of the world itself challenges players not to be drawn into it. Conflicts between races, economic depression, the power of big business, these are all relatable themes, even with a veneer of science fiction and fantasy. Players have a lot of freedom in defining their character. Builds are diverse and flexible, allowing for the construction of vastly different classes. Archetypes are available from the get-go, like the Rigger with its robotic companions, Deckers who can hack terminals and travel into the Matrix, and of course mages. But these archetypes are merely guidelines, and one can quite easily go off the beaten track and build a gun-toting techno-mage or a monk who commands robots. The abilities and stats that make up a class don't just play a role in combat, they also affect conversations and exploration. Combat plays out like a rough XCOM, turn-based with a focus on finding cover. The plethora of classes and abilities allow for a lot of different tactics, but things rarely become complicated due to the ease with which enemies can be dispatched. This makes most builds very viable, and even poorly thought out ones can fall back on the skills of the teams that can be hired before a mission. A greater level of challenge would have been welcome though. While lacking graphical fidelity, Shadowrun oozes atmosphere. The grotty, rain-soaked streets are filled with litter and detritus, and high-tech gizmos sit comfortably next to arcane artifacts. It's a vibrant but appropriately ugly world. The aforementioned character models are neither sharp nor detailed, though some equipable outfits improve this oversight. Dwarfed by their environments, one is rarely in a position to look closely at them, however, so their ill-defined nature never becomes a huge issue. Though Shadowrun's main audio theme is appropriate, sound effects and accompanying music feel like an afterthought. With no voiced dialogue, there's little reason not to just play your own music while enjoying the gameplay. As enjoyable as it is, Shadowrun's main campaign is merely an example of what can be achieved with a robust editor tool made available to all players. Right now we've just seen a slice of what can be done with it, and the prospect of a stream of new campaigns is a tantalising one. It's an excellent beginning, but in the hands of the community, Shadowrun Returns could become even greater.